So I wanted to talk about Spa-Francorchamps. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps is the host of the Belgian Grand Prix and has been home of the Belgian Grand Prix since 1985. Of course, back in the day, it was on the calendar as well, but it was in the much longer form. In 1985, it came back after many years away. I think we had our last Formula One Grand Prix around the old Spa in 1970. We went to places like Zolder in the meantime, and then eventually Spa came back. But what makes Spa so special in Formula One? Well, I like to think I'm a decent person to talk about this because not only do I love the history of Formula One, not only do I love Formula One so much as you guys know, but I've also been to the track as well. I was lucky enough to go to the track back in 2018. I'll try and put some pictures from those days on the screen as I talk about this as well. It's absolutely an incredible event. It is a very unique track in Formula One. It's the longest track in Formula One. But what makes it so special? Why is it such a disappointment that it's only going to be on the calendar every other year after 2027? Well, for me, it's absolutely one of the cornerstone events of Formula One. It's been on the calendar on and off, like I said, since the very start back in 1950. So you've got that originality there. Monza, Monaco and Silverstone also hold that same title in a sense. They are one of the OGs, one of the OCs, one of the original circuits of Formula One, as it were. And Spa is absolutely mesmeric. You watch the cars go around there, particularly in qualifying, and they are absolutely rapid around corners like Eau Rouge, Pouhon, Blanchimont, and even some corners like the Fagnes chicane and stuff like that. It's just such a flowing, such a circuit that just really suits the Formula One cars so well. Formula One cars are designed for me to go around tracks like this. And on top of that as well, from an entertainment point of view, of course, this is very much probably the easiest track on the calendar to overtake, going down the Kemmel Straight all the way to Le Combe. That was the longest flat-out run for many, many years in Formula One. I believe the run between the last braking zone in Baku and also the first corner of that track is actually technically longer in terms of time now. But the speed that these cars do around this track is incredible. You're talking about a lap time that is, over 150 miles per hour on average, something like that. And seeing the cars, seeing the G-forces of these things, testing the drivers to the absolute limit, it very much is something that's very unique. You don't get in a lot of circuits nowadays. And on top of that as well, we need to talk about the weather. You can't talk about Spa and not talk about the weather. Now, of course, the weather here is infamously difficult to predict. As I know, it rained very randomly. It was very cold as well. I mean, this race used to be held in August. It's now in July. Either way, it's in the summer, but it can still be really cold there. Like, I had a waterproof coat on when I went there, and I was cold. My mate had a jumper, and I was taking the mick out of him because he's from the south of England and I'm from the north. I was saying, "Oh, you southern softy, you can't hack it out here." But he was he was in the right with that one. He did the right thing bringing that jumper. I didn't bring a jumper with me to Belgium, and it was very much the wrong move because it was so cold. The weather is so unpredictable there. And when the rain comes as well, Spa is one of the biggest challenges in Formula One, without a doubt whatsoever. It's a nightmare for teams in that regard to try and predict what's going to happen, but it's great for the spectator. There have been so many classic moments here, and it really does speak volumes that the legends of the sport, the true goats of the sport, are at the very top in terms of wins. Hamilton, Senna, Schumacher, Clark, they've all had 4 or more victories over here over the years, and I do really think it deserves a permanent place on the calendar. I know money talks, I know it's important and stuff like that, I get that, I do, but for me, the soul of Formula One is very much with tracks like this. And as well, on top of that too, because it's got this reputation, because it's so big, I mean, if it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to actually walk around the Spa circuit if you to do it on foot. And a lot of it's very hilly as well. I mean, Belgium's a really, really flat country, but they put this circuit in the one bit of the country where there's these big old hills. It must be near the highest point, really, when it comes to Belgium as a nation. But because it's so big as well, you get so many fans flocking to there. Even though it's in the middle of absolutely nowhere, even though it's a nightmare to get in and out of, I will not lie, it is terrible getting in and out of that place because it's just country roads. It's not, from a facility point of view, compared to a lot of the modern ones, it's nowhere near up to scratch. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I love it. It's a proper old school, pure racing track. And just driving it on a simulator, if you're lucky enough to ever drive it in an actual car, it is something you'll never forget. It really, really deserves its place in Formula One. I love it personally. So many classic moments, and I'm sure it'll continue to produce classic moments as well, and it is going to be a big miss in 2028. The Formula One calendar that year will not be the same without Spa. It really will not. But guys, let me know your thoughts about Spa in the comments below. Does it deserve a permanent place on the calendar? For me, it absolutely should. Japan, Brazil, Britain, Italy, Monaco, Belgium. You know, those 6 for me, they should be on the calendar every single year, without fail, without question, no doubt. I mean, controversial one I know in the form of Monaco, but I don't care. Formula One for me has to have the Monaco Grand Prix, and it has to have Belgium as well. No, who doesn't like Belgium? Who doesn't like Spa? Find me a person that doesn't like the Spa circuit. If you don't like Spa, tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. I just spent about 5 minutes or so telling you why you're wrong. But yeah, I want to hear what you have to say about it in the comments below, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always if you want to see more of this. And have a fantastic day here in the world today, guys. See you very soon.